Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on, folks and friends? Fans and followers, teams, incredible people, legends and legendettes. Hope you're doing sensational. Interesting. That's cool. Didn't know I could do that. All right. Just updating a few things here. Oh, man, this is great. What a fantastic Tuesday. Oh, my goodness. I hope you all had an absolute blast because we kind of more or less nailed the analysis from yesterday. I think we were really prepared for what occurred today. Ashley said she wants a little bit of an upgrade. Totally. We can make that happen. Let me get Ashley a little bit of an upgrade. There we go. Fantastic. Carla's in the building. What's going on, Carla? Matt DeLong says, welcome to day 2 of the open house swing trading room. Yes, sir. Pleasure to have everyone here. It's going to be a fun time and a great opportunity to talk about some trades, to review some setups, and to talk stocks. Type in a 3 if you're fired up and ready. Woo! All right. Getting a bunch of 3s. Here we go. So the SPY, which is the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Yesterday, I mentioned that you would probably want to watch for a gap up. Right, that was the analysis from yesterday. I mentioned watch for a gap up. If it is a gap up, look to play it bullish on a retest, end quote. And that is exactly, precisely, and serendipitously what happened today on the SPY. In fact, if I just kind of come back and look at it, it was a really, really picture perfect day. I'll turn the extended hours off. And man, if you play gaps, I mean, what more of a retest could you possibly want than that? It was so good. So good. Bearish candle gapped up, pulled right into the moving averages, hammer candle, high wave candle, and she's gone. I mean, amazing. Amazing. So good. And realistically, I mean, that's the classic retest. That was a gorgeous retest gap. Beautiful move on the SPY if you were day trading it. Again, if you're long-term investing, we talked about just yesterday how this candle and this candle has a lot of similarities. So realistically tomorrow, I mean, I'm probably expecting a little bit of a smaller resting day for the most part. We could have a tiny little small resting gap up and a little bit of a trade down. But realistically, are we going to continue and can we continue? And the answer is yes, we absolutely can. I am expecting it to do that. And again, if we go lower, I want us to go lower. I think it'll be so much fun for us to actually go lower, but I don't think we will. That's the crazy part. I don't think it's actually going to happen. So we'll find out. Either way, like I said, if we do go lower, I'm going to get stopped out on some bullish positions, and then I will work on flipping and playing some things bearish. That's the SPY. Here's the Qs. And all of these are gapping up a little bit post-market with Apple earnings, but I do expect that to kind of calm down towards the afternoon. We'll talk about that later. But realistically, Qs are gapping up small. Nice gap today. I mean, again, ridiculously good gap. Here's the 5-minute chart, and also just the retest, that hammer candle, 2 high wave dojis back to back. Beautiful. A one-winged flamingo could have taken a trade on the Qs today and made money if you were bullish. So congratulations to all those one-winged flamingos out there. Very well done. And again, the interesting thing is looking at the E-minis, we've already closed above yesterday's bearish candles high. So that tells me that there are a lot of bears already trapped. It seems to me that we could easily continue higher from here with a little bit of a pullback. It just seems like we're kind of repeating almost what we did in December. And I know that sounds insane, but man, it sure is possible. So boy, oh boy, buy some dips, hold on to your hats. And again, if we get a giant bearish move, that's fine. I'm just letting you all know I'll probably lose on that day for some swing trades. But on the day trades, we'll be fine. I actually prefer day trading bearish. It's just fun to do. But, you know, if we don't get one, we don't get one. The IWM, which is the Russell 2000, long-term looks brilliant. And that's what's interesting to me and why I do think we can go higher in the market is because the Russell looks really strong. We've broken out and retested a really nice year-long consolidation phase. And the trend is unquestionably, unarguably bullish over the longer period of time. Here's your monthly chart. And look at this trend on a monthly. I mean, you know, given enough time, given enough months, you should be winning on this particular ETF. And it looks nice and healthy and cute. So be bullish longer term. Right now, that's all I see. And sure, I could get surprised at some point, and I will. But for right now, I'm just having a good time. Let's go ahead and dive into some stocks that were individually requested. And the first on the list was CRNC. And CRNC, I have no idea what this company does or what they are. Technology service packaged software. Interesting. CRNC. The first time this chart was posted in Slack, this candle was what we were looking at. And when that candle was there, I really wanted to buy that pullback with a stop loss around here somewhere. So I will set this trade up, but we probably missed it. That's just my guess. I will put this on the list for a continuation tomorrow. So let me go ahead and do that really quick. What day is today? Today is the 28th. Okay. Wednesday morning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, keep really close attention to what I'm saying. I'm jotting this down for tomorrow morning. We did that yesterday with Twitter, and we all know how that worked out. So CRNC, I'm going to set this up to get in on a pullback where I wanted to get in the other day, and we'll see if it gets filled. I, again, probably won't, but you never know. Sometimes buying the dip works out. Misty, I will let Matt and or Ashley answer that question for you. But the short answer is in your email. Check your inbox. It's there. All right, so there's the trends. That looks nice. 2239 by 2090. Ladies and gentlemen, type in a 7. If that is a pretty clear, concise, you get it, you understand what we're doing on that trade. New official swing trade. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask. 1/28/2020 CRNC, looking at snagging 2239 with a stop loss at 2090. Looking at doing shares. I think it's a great trade actually based on the gap and go. Open because it's not triggered yet, and we'll put that right here. All right. Pam says, what happened with Twitter? I just got home from work. Haven't seen anything about today's session at all. Well, cool deal, Pam. Yesterday was when we talked about Twitter in the afternoon room about 23 hours ago, but I will be more than happy to pull it up and look at it today. Don't you worry. It is definitely on the list, and we will talk about it. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so that's what we got on CRNC. That's what it looks like, and sweet. Okay, cool deal. Next on the list, let's see what the next ticker that wants to be looked at is TGNA. TGNA. What is this one? No idea what this is, but that is a very pretty double bottom. Let me go to a monthly chart. I'm just looking at the trend. Trend on this one, slightly up in the last decade. Obviously have a little bit of a downtrend fight, but you are going higher in the last 10 years. So something like this looks moderately bullish, right? Doesn't look like a super, super strong trend, but the company's been around for a while. They've had tons of stock splits. How come I've never heard of this company? What the heck do they do? Huh, I have no idea. Stock splits, dividends, this company's been around for forever. Okay, well, let me go into the weekly chart. Weekly chart, we have some resistance up here, but we're above all the averages. Daily chart, we're above all the averages. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play this one right now. Earnings is around the corner, but I'd like to see if it can pull back a little bit lower. I would really like to buy around 16.5. So 1660 would be where I would add a lot more of the position. You could always consider buying a little bit more here with this double bottom right there. Also, I do kind of like this particular candle, Morningstar-esque right here. And if it broke above and made a little bit of a higher move, I think the trend would be bullish. And again, you could just play that for a long trade. Since this is a dividend paying stock, a little bit of a blue chip company, I would assume if you buy it at the right time, it will eventually make a higher move. Absolutely, I'm in love with this hammer candle right here. Beautiful trade, gorgeous break above that resistance. And I would have just been incredibly happy to get in bullish down there, but I did not. First time I've ever heard of this company. Robert says it's a media company, lots of local news channels. So we'll probably get some spikes with the whole virus thing because all people are going to be watching the news about the virus. So that makes sense. Alex asked a question. Do you usually get out of your swing trades when they hit 2 R's? Yep, usually. Here's a really good chart. I do want to give Matt DeLong a shout out for posting it. I think it was super useful and pretty interesting to visually see. Here it is right here. History of the S&P and flu pandemics. So if you're kind of interested in what's happened in the past, you can see the Asian flu for 2 years did cause the market. I say cause the market, but we trade sideways there for a little bit. You know, the Asian flu, Hong Kong flu, 1968, 1969, didn't really do too much. But again, you did have some reaction. Then you have the plague, the pneumonic plague in 1994, SARS, big drop in 2002, 2003. The avian flu did nothing. Swine flu was extremely bullish, and Zika was very bullish. So long story short, every single one of these, eventually the market goes higher. So again, there's a lot of traders kind of worried and scared and upset and terrified about the whole virus thing that's occurring. I think it's personally a very short-term thing. They'll just get blown over and no one's going to really worry about it long-term. That's just, again, purely stock chart based analysis and opinion. Obviously, I don't want anyone to get sick, die, or be injured or suffer pain of any kind from the disease or the virus. But if we're talking just sheer numbers, I think right now it needs a lot more attention to totally get solved and cured, but hopefully it can happen in the near future. Anyway, still a very good chart to check out. All right, so that's TGNA. Won't do a trade setup on it, but it looks nice. Here's Godaddy. Today is Tech Giant Tuesday. So Godaddy, GDDY. This is a stock that I'm a pretty big fan of on a little bit of a longer term scale. I'll repeat that. I really like GoDaddy on a long-term scale. Big fan of this company. And what you have on GoDaddy is a nice higher low and a really nice lower high. So this is forming a big triangle. And on a weekly chart, you have this candle coming in, which is a really pretty high wave indecisive candle. So eventually we're going to break out of that candle on a weekly chart. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be bullish. I also kind of like playing GoDaddy bullish into the Super Bowl. And we had a setup on GoDaddy to get in bullish on a pullback not too long ago, and I did cancel that. Now I'm kind of wishing I didn't, because that would have been really cool to get filled at 69.44. That is a nice little candle. There's a lot of charts that look just like that. So I think I'm going to wait on GoDaddy. It doesn't look bad. Again, it's a short-term trade. The thing is, what I'm looking at is I would like to find stocks that look a little bit different than the broader market, something that is kind of shaping up to be a smidge differente. And right now, GoDaddy is not quite that different. But long-term, I love the stock. I think it's a great company to be a part of. Buy some shares, good reoccurring revenue, good business model, digital real estate. It's never going to go anywhere, and really great customer service. Rick wants me to look at PG&X. All right, I will put that on the list for tomorrow. PG&X. Okay, cool. So that's GoDaddy. Big fan long-term of that company. And next on the list is Shopify. Shopify has been straight up rampaging. And a lot of it happened after this picture perfect, really pretty pennant pattern right here. Very nice pennant pattern that eventually broke out. Matt DeLong, if you keep in mind, you also had a stupendously gorgeous hammer candle right there. Just a perfect hammer in every form of the word. And since then, it's just been going higher. So right now, the trend on Shopify is bullish. I did attempt a day trade and a short on that day right there, and I lost by about $1. And if my stop was just a little more conservative, or if I had waited like 2 more hours, I would have cleaned up on that trade, but I didn't. So anyway, it gapped down yesterday. We have a little bit of a high wave candle, and then the bullish trade's continuing. So right now, even though I did try it one time in the last month and a half to short it on a day trade, and I lost on it, that serves me right. So be bullish on Shopify. Trend is good. Earnings are strong and around the corner. Fundamentals are incredible. And one of the things that I like about this company the most, you guys ready for this? This is something that one of my mentors told me about Shopify. This is one of the very few brand new Canadian tech companies. And if you're thinking to yourself, yeah, cool. What does that mean, Jeremy? Well, all of the Canada companies that have a tech portfolio, right, or all the managing partners or the money managers that need a new tech company, that's why the stock is getting bought, right? And when the stock is getting bought, it's getting bought because it's a Canadian tech company. So it's one of the very first ones since I think BlackBerry. So, you know, Canadians are buying it like crazy. And something that you all need to remember, when a bunch of people buy a stock and the stock goes higher, the company receives what, ladies and gentlemen? What happens when a bunch of people buy a company? Yeah, you get more capital, right? So the higher the stock goes, the more valuable the company is, the more capital they're receiving when people buy them, right? Because if people buy some company long-term, that's the reason that stocks exist. You can't forget that. That's just kind of classic trading 101. But a lot of people forget that when you buy a company long-term, they are receiving your money. So they're raising capital. And so as the capital goes up, they can do more with it. They can do more R&D, they can grow, they can build, they can create more. And I think, Jesse, that Shopify had a secondary offering, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2018, I believe. So yeah, looks strong, good chart. Trend is bullish. Be bullish on Shopify. Buy the dips. Looks good. All right, Peloton, PTON. So this is a weekly options newsletter trade that I sent out to everybody on Peloton. I really just like this hammer candle. Matt says Shopify has had several secondary offerings. Thank you, Mr. DeLong. So yeah, Peloton, really, really good double bottom kind of coming in here. Decent bullish trend. It retested again. And what's interesting about Peloton, ladies and gentlemen, is Blake Anderson set up a trade to get in at 28.80, and he missed the trade by 5 pennies. So if you want to see that trade, check it out. By the way, just as a reminder, anyone who subscribes to Real Life Trading, you'll get access to our trade tracking journal. So any trade that we do make and trade and track, you have access to it. So for right now, I'll send you this chart so you can just kind of keep an eye on it. I'll put it in the chat pane so you can kind of just get a glimpse of it. But this was the setup that Blake was trying to get. This was just a few days ago, back when Peloton was at $30.83. He wanted to get it at $28.80, right? Buy low, sell high. And this was the setup. The low of Peloton 2 or 3 days later was $28.85. So that means he missed it by 5 pennies. Now, what I like about it is it was a good hammer candle off of the 50 chart. You did have a pretty good bullish candle, and then you had a bearish candle today with a high, almost the exact same high as this bearish candle, almost the exact same high of this bearish candle. So my thought process is there's a chance that Peloton could have a really quick pop coming into earnings. The volume and the stock options increase, and that's why I sent it out as a weekly options newsletter. So don't know if it's going to work, but I kind of hope it does. That would be really cool. And I like the chart. The company itself, I don't really necessarily care for, regardless, but we will be in and out of this trade pretty quickly. It's a pretty aggressive trade. I could see us getting out in the next 4 or 5 days. If it really starts rocketing higher, we need to pop out. So Carrie says, what was the trade? It is in your inbox, Carrie Nations. The title says, here's your weekly options newsletter setup on Peloton. So yep, it's in your inbox. Check it out. Sent it about 43 minutes ago. All right, next is Glue Mobile, GLUU. Also, it's on the homepage of our website, just in case anybody wants to pop over to our website, reallifetrading.com. And if you just scroll down, recent articles, your free weekly options newsletter, that is the one as well. Tracy says is actually using her Peloton bike. You mean the one that I got out of the garbage can? She loves it. That was a good tweet. That was funny. That was very funny. Glue Mobile. I had a few traders ask about this one yesterday, and bottom line, my friends, it is stuck in between the 100 and 200 simple moving average. So I would leave Glue Mobile alone until earnings. I really do like the monthly chart, just purely based on technicals. I like the fact that it's kind of basing a little bit. You had a really nice run up. Charts like this very frequently recover, but slowly. There's a lot of charts that do it, but you did have growth. You did have higher highs. You did have higher lows. So I could see Glue Mobile making a run for it over the next few months. I don't know if I want to hold on to the trade that long. I don't have any position in it right now. Although we did trade as a team, Glue Mobile bullish back over here somewhere. We made a small gain on Glue Mobile. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, right now it's stuck in between long terms. Earnings around the corner. Let's come back to it next week and just see what it does over earnings, if anything interesting at all. So that's Glue Mobile. Nothing too wild or crazy there. Just gonna keep waiting on that one. Next on the list is CGC, and check it out. CGC closed above our entry from yesterday. Now, what's even more interesting is you might recall this was a day trade that we set up in the morning day trading room. So if you were following me in the morning day trading room, you were able to snag a quick little half an hour win on Canopy Growth. We played it bullish into here, and we won on our official trade on CGC. Obviously, if you hung around, I don't know if Blake was looking at this later in the day, but it did eventually end up bouncing really strongly. You would have had to leave your stop exactly where it was for like 4 hours to become a really big winner on that. But saying all that to say, it was a really good trade for those who got a chance to play it. I don't mind how we exited. I think it's totally fine, and I'm absolutely cool with taking the win on CTC. But we now closed above our price from yesterday. So at this level, this is a pretty good gap on Canopy Growth. That's what's interesting. You are absolutely right. It is trying to get some buying off of this price. A lot of volume is coming in. And I don't really specifically like the quote unquote pot industry. I think too many people know about it, and therefore it probably won't work. But Canopy Growth, I did have some really, really good put sales on this one not too long ago. And there's actually still some premium for February. So there's still premium at $15 for February on CGC, which is over earnings. And you have some for March as well. So a $15 put sale for March pays you 40 cents. I think that's pretty good, honestly, even though today is an up day and you would have been better off selling it the other day. I really don't mind that particular price. So what I think I'm going to do is just do it again and then see if I want to buy another share or buy some shares on a pullback. So let me pull up Trend Spider really quick. And let me just pop over here to a weekly chart. I'll turn the multi-time frame analysis off. And here's a little bit of the weekly. Let me put up the 200 on the weekly chart. Okay, I'll turn these off for right now. And all right. So $15 put sale. I'll make it black. Okay. March. I'll write it in the text box. March put sale 40-cent limit. Make that another black text box. Okay. So for those of you who are fans of the option sales, I think that is, if the math is correct, about 50% away from the stock price. It's not too bad. I'll post that one out on Twitter. Let's see. Check out this interesting chart for CGC. Looking at doing a March put sale. Okay, so let me go throw that in the chat in the credit spreads put sales journal. By the way, LK is already an extremely profitable put sale. Okay, 2020 CGC short put strike 15, looking to get 40 cents. Hasn't filled yet, obviously, since the market's closed. And there it is. Okay. Now, what I'm going to look for is actually seeing if we can get a little bit of a pullback for a directional trade, like options or shares. Peter says, for Peloton, can I convert it to a call debit spread to bring it into risk range for my little account? It's 100% up to you, my friend. You have permission to do whatever you want to do in your account. It is totally your call. All right, let me put the moving averages on. So the moving averages don't look bad on Canopy Growth. And realistically, I would just kind of say if we can get a pullback. So we're going to look at it again tomorrow. I don't know if we get a pullback, but we could. Let's just keep a very close eye on this one around 2241. CGC could continue. And what I like about it the most is the weekly chart. I'm really a big fan of the weekly. So we're going to come back to CGC tomorrow and just get a little bit of an idea of what it's going to do. But yeah, 2241 CGC, not bad, on the list again for tomorrow. Okay, perfect. Let's see. All right, tomorrow. Nathan says, how long do you stay in your option trades? Totally depends, Mr. Nathan Hall. Usually my option sales, very rarely, 98% of them are over in 2 months. When I trade directional options, I'm either in a directional option for 2 or 3 weeks or a year. Did that answer your question, sir? All right, CGC on Wednesday. There you go. Peter says it's not a bad idea, in your opinion. I don't like debit spreads at all because they just cap the gains on options, and that's kind of the point of options is really high returns. So I very rarely do debit spreads, but it's not a bad idea if you're bullish and you want to do a debit spread, knock yourself out. Go for it, my man. Tammy says, please put on the list Home Depot, Costco, and Teladoc tomorrow. Okay, I will do. All right. Next on the list, let's see what we got. We have Pinterest, ticker symbol PINS. And Pinterest, we talked about this one yesterday, and I mentioned that this stock will double. All right, so again, you're hearing me say this. Pinterest will double, ladies and gentlemen. So it's your decision on how you want to play that. I don't know when it's going to double, right? I don't know when. But the risk reward on this one is really simple for me. So Sylvan, I hope you're listening. It's either going to go to 0 or it's going to go higher. That's how I figure I play it. And you only have $22 of risk on the downside, worst case scenario. Deborah says, yes, and on Pinterest, the 23 strike has high options volume this week. Cool. Right on. So yeah, long term, I'm a fan of Pinterest. I just think they're a great marketing agency. I think they have incredible data. It's going to take a little bit of time to really kind of rampage some, but just looking at it, it's going to take a little bit of time to get out of this pattern, but it's not bad. So if I go over to Pinterest and just kind of, again, to get a general idea of what we're looking at, I love the volume coming in here. This is going to be a big support resistance. If we can break above 2365 in the next few days or weeks, especially after earnings, we should be home free for a nice double. Jesse says, how are they monetizing? They are selling ads, very well-placed ads to tons of people who have very specific focuses and interests. So if you're a marketer, right, Jesse? If you're a marketer, you have a very direct and specific group of people. Let's say you sell wedding cakes. You can go, hey, wedding cakes. Pinterest, give me everyone who has a Pinterest board on wedding cakes who's about to get married in the next 3 months. And it goes, okay, got it. Jesse says, I thought Google made it difficult to reach them, especially when Googling. I don't know, man. I've never had a problem with it. Robin says, I made a dinner the other night from Pinterest recipe, and tonight will be another Pinterest recipe. Nice. Serena says, Pinterest is the best place to shop. If you ever want to choose any type of item, the greatest quality details, they're on Pinterest. Here's the other thing, folks. Ready for this? Guess who uses Pinterest the most? Women. Women. And guess who started making a lot of money in the last 8 to 9 years? Ladies. They started to make more and more and more income. So you have, I mean, really Pinterest is kind of like one of my perfect target markets for a lot of my marketing. So yeah, the ladies love Pinterest. They're very visual. They're making a lot of money and they're crushing it. Anyway, long-term, I like Pinterest. All right, next on the list is PCG. And PCG has been breaking out nicely. This thing has been slowly recovering pretty well. So this is one that we day traded like a vicious vixen back on the 23rd of January. Pretty happy about how we played it on that day. And since then, it's just been continuing. Again, there's a lot of real life traders, I'm not one of them, who got into PCG back here at $4 with an absolute zero play. So they bought it at 4 and they said, okay, it's either going to go to 0 or it's not. So they bought it at 4 and then boom, they are murdering that position. Again, I did not take that trade for no other reason than I can't be in everything. So look at the volume that came in on this bad boy. Woo! Look at that volume. And then the very next day, it closed above the high of that candle. And then 2 days later, it closes above the high of all of that bearish candle. Just a squeeze. It got a good, really good short squeeze. So PCG, ladies and gentlemen, is going to continue. Buy the dip. Be bullish on this thing. It's going to continue into earnings, and it's really, really going to rocket ship if it can take out this 50 EMA. So this is your next target, and it could hit that by the end of the week. Realistically, it could hit that tomorrow. So I'm going to put PCG on my list for tomorrow as a day trade, just to see if I can keep an eye on it and see if it can continue. But PCG looks pretty interesting. Nice little bullish trend. I like it. Keep an eye on it. Etsy. So I looked at Etsy yesterday, and Etsy had a nice hammer candle. Again, I really just kind of wanted to have today to be an inside candle, but you know what? I don't mind playing some Etsy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lower this. I'm going to do a limit buy. And then I'm also going to lower this. I'm also a big fan of Etsy too, long term. I think Etsy has a really cool marketplace structure. If it breaks that low, it's going to go a little bit lower actually. So let me put it right there. 48.63 by 45.63. That's how we'll play Etsy. All right. Let's see if I pull up a moving average really quick. Cool. Etsy, new official swing trade. I love the hammer. Pretty big fan of the company longer term. This is a directional swing, but I would not be opposed to also snagging some longer term positions as well. All right. So boom, boom. I guess I can put that in there. All right. Etsy. Bang, bang. Bow. Mike says, looks like a lot of waves since that double bottom. Yeah, man. She's been waving nicely. A lot of good waves. Beautiful double bottom. Fantastic close back at 44.45. And here's your long-term moving averages as well on Etsy. And we're just kind of right above that 100. So we'll see if that can hold up and kind of figure that out. But not a bad trade. See if we can get it on a pullback. And again, just because I set up a trade, ladies and gentlemen, it does not mean it will work. All right. Keep that in mind. I wish that was the case. How cool would that be? Every single trade that I do works all the time. That'd be amazing. If it's a long-term trade, I have an extremely high success ratio. Because long enough time horizon, you know, you should be able to get it right. I mean, hashtag buy Apple, like it's a pretty easy long-term trading strategy, I think, to invest in a company that you like and you know how they make money, and just kind of buy at the right price and hold long enough and you should do okay. Open. All right. Carrie says, what is the Twitter address? My Twitter handle is @Newsome Nuggets. That is it. @Newsome Nuggets. That's my Twitter address. If that's what the question you had, Carrie. Okay, cool. So Etsy looks kind of cool. We'll see what it does. That's the setup that we have. Chewy is next on the list because Chewy, CHWY, kind of was mean to me. Like, it looks like it just whipsawed me out of this trade. And I'm like, man, should I get back in again? Because it feels really uncomfortable to get back in again, which usually means it's a good thing. I mean, it's a strong Morningstar reversal. I also don't want too much risk out there. What's this volume candle? Volume candles. We made a higher high since then. Let me just go look at this weekly chart one more time. Yeah. All right, let me pop into the hourly. All right. I think we just got whipsawed out of that trade. I think it's worth trying it one more again. Although this 100 simple is a little discontent because I would like it to have retested a little bit larger. I'm gonna wait. If you're wondering why am I gonna wait, if I sit there too long and can't figure it out, I normally just cancel it. I think this could happen based on this unfilled gap and based on the fact that we haven't really retested the 100 again. I'm going to wait on Chewy. I could be wrong. I could miss it. That's not a big deal, though. Someone once told me that sometimes you miss trades. And I said to them, man, that is revolutionarily powerful. All right, Micron Technology, ticker symbol MU. Micron was a tremendous gap today. A lot of people made some good money on it because it simply gapped above the previous high of the day. So check out how a lot of people played Micron. I did not take this trade on Micron, but a few people did. Here's your first 3-minute candle. And the very first 3-minute candle was a high wave candle. Ladies and gentlemen, did Micron go above the high of the first 3-minute candle? Did it go above the high? Did it go above the high? Nope, it did not. So here's your high wave candle. Entry would have been there. Stop loss would have been there, and it did not trigger. So what most traders did who played Microns, they waited for it. Stock came down. You got 2 indecision candles followed by a high wave candle. There's 3 candles in a row of indecision. And then you got decision. Volume increase, close above the entry, close above the highs. Your entry would have been something like that. Stop loss would have been the low of the day. That was a beautiful trade. That's pretty much how most traders played both AMD and NVIDIA today. So again, Micron, here's your monthly chart. And the interesting thing about the monthly chart on Micron is its all-time high is 94. So you guys ready for this really bold statement? Micron will reach 94 in the future. Don't know when, but I love the trend, love the volume. I actually really like the fundamentals. The PE ratio is ridiculous. The buybacks are insane. The chart is amazing. There's your double bottom. It had a very, very comfortable pullback. If you're a fan of Fibonacci analysis, check out this little beast of a pullback. Fibonacci retracement. So if I just drop one really quick, look at that. Main range pulled back to the 0.618 and bounced. What more do you want, Clive McClivester? So anyway, Micron, be bullish on it longer term. Buy the dips. The trend is great. Own some position if you want some exposure. It doesn't pay dividends, so that's kind of like a lame thing. But Micron will be going higher over time. And I would love another pullback to the 100, but we might not get it. Bottom line, if we gap above the high of today, you can be bullish just like today. And if it gaps down, it can be bearish. But again, longer term on Micron, you're looking for spots to buy it and make some money on those dips. Speaking of NVIDIA, and then we're going to go look at AMD since it had earnings. NVIDIA. It always reminds me of Activia, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, oh boy, I mean, what a gap. What a gap. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I think you're going to be proud of me. I'm bragging on myself really quick on this particular stock, this position, but this is the biggest option percentage win I've ever had in my entire life on NVIDIA. I bought June 2021 call options on NVIDIA here. So it's either 2021 or 2020. I can never remember. I'd have to pull it up. But anyway, yeah, bottom there. So those are up about 1,200%. Pretty sick. Really good returns on those. And I have a debit spread against it. So pretty much if this thing keeps going higher, which I expect it to, I'm just going to exit that debit spread that I got into far after this particular trade was over. So I sold those call options, AKA these call options over here, I believe. I sold those over there and yeah, never bought them back. So anyway, NVIDIA, let's look at the day trade. I mean, the day trade was phenomenal. Feel free to study this day trade, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to practice your retest, this is the perfect retest. Type it as 6 if you see the most glorious handle of all time. And I said handle, I meant hammer. There it is. If you're looking for a retest, Anthony Jones, and you see that candle, I don't know what you're doing by not getting into the trade if you're watching that setup. I mean, that's the most obvious candle of all time. Look at that lower shadow, how it's trapping both bears and bulls. Look at the shaved top. Look at the risk reward. Look at the retest. Look at the trend. Whoo, come on. What are you doing? So Robert Thompson, great job snagging some beautiful wins on NVIDIA. That was nice. And realistically, you have to go out to a monthly chart on this one, and you'll see that it posted a beautiful double bottom, had a really nice retracement. And you guys ready for this one? Check it out. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. NVIDIA, when it has a little bit of a bigger pullback, is going to be legendary. Jesse said, what's a good proxy for NVIDIA? When you say proxy, what do you mean? In fact, that wave count is so good, I should probably chart it. Jesse says, I mean, second to it. In price? Oh, man. Lamb Research, probably. LRCX. AMD does a lot of battlings with it. Micron does a little bit of battling with it. Intel does a little bit of battling with it. I mean, semiconductors is a really big industry. Buy the dip. Longer term, she goes higher. All right. So that's the thing you got to keep in mind is it's already had its pullback, folks. I've been bullish on NVIDIA since May of last year, and it has already had a strong pullback. Again, it's going to have another one, but I'm saying this is it. Like the pullback that it had back in like that massive drop, like that's a really huge drop, and then it double bottomed. I mean, this is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous trade on NVIDIA at some point in the future after we get a little bit more of a pullback. We know whenever that happens. It could happen over earnings. It could happen in March or something. According to this wave count, it's going to happen in April. So we'll see. But right now, expecting it NVIDIA to continue higher, and we'll see what happens on earnings. All right. So AMD. AMD apparently is down a little bit. Let's see what AMD is. Yep, down to 48.85. That's nice, actually. So AMD had a cute little gap up today, and again, a really nice retest gap. So again, very similar to Micron and NVIDIA. I saw a one-winged flamingo take AMD bullish today, and that flamingo's name was Clive, and he absolutely smoked AMD. So congratulations, about 9 traders made about 3 Rs or more today on AMD. Just a really good gap. Nice gap right above the high of yesterday, good trend. And tomorrow, we're going to see how it plays out. I mean, it's a very small gap down. If I had to guess on AMD, this would be my guess. So we gap down to 48.90. We probably open, this is worst case scenario. And I think best case scenario, we throw in a little bit of a lower shadow and then probably still get a little bit of a bounce. Bottom line, you should put AMD on your watch list tomorrow. It's going to be volatile and it's going to be pretty fun. I love playing AMD, man, because you can buy like 1,000 shares at a time with no slippage at all, and just, you know, play the candles, play the patterns, buy low, sell high. It's very, very liquid. It's volatile. It's sexy. It's good. It's easy. All of the things you could want in a stock. So I would say that this is on AMD worst case scenario. Yes, it is a little bit of a bearish gap and go tomorrow. It's an incredibly strong trend, and it's only trapping 1 day's worth of candles. So I'm not really that stressed out about AMD. All right. XLRN. XLRN, huge gap up today. Massive gap up. Health tech, biotechnology. It passed on success of PHA drug study. I mean, the crazy thing is, this is the monthly chart, and it's been consolidating for it forever. So the interesting part about Acceleron is I think that's exactly what it's about to do. I think it's about to Acceleron higher. It's going to require a little bit of rest first, but man, this is a really interesting gap, and there's all kinds of people stuck on this thing short. I tried shorting it today as a day trade, and it didn't quite happen. And I don't have any particular trade on this. I think we can come back to it next week after all of you have signed up for real life trading because you think it's very valuable and useful and enriching and beneficial. But XLRN, I just think that you would want it to pull back a little bit, have a little bit of a dip, pull into some gaps, and then look to play it long. Believe it or not. I mean, this gap and the breakout of this 5-year distribution phase, that's a big deal. I mean, it's our earnings volume. Let me see what the last earnings did. Last earnings, negative 86, negative 34, negative 74. No positive earnings ever? Nope. So anyway, strong gap. Expect it to most likely continue a little bit, which is very interesting. All right, Snapchat. So I poo-pooed Snapchat for a long time. I did. Pretty much until it got down to the single digits. And then once it got down to the single digits, I didn't poo-poo it as hard because people were still using it and they were still making money and they were still kind of slowly recovering. The last earnings was interesting because they only lost 16 cents a share. And I think that was, the best, smallest amount of losses that they've had. They are working on getting back to interesting. The other cool part is Snapchat has broken below all these downward trend angles. And the third interesting thing is all of the people who were on Snapchat back in 2017, when it was hilariously overpriced and insanely overvalued, they were like 13 years old. Well, what happens over the course of, 3 years is 13-year-olds turn into 16-year-olds. And all of a sudden they have a little bit more money. They're working at a job and they have cash to buy things. So now all the advertisements that are going through on Snapchat are actually getting bought by the 16-year-olds who are using them, and they've improved their fundamentals a lot. So I like the trends. A lot of people, including myself, have been all over Snapchat and hated them for a long time. But again, once they got below 9, I'm like, well, So sure, they're losing money. It's not an amazing company. It's not a company that I have any position in right now. But coming into earnings, I will keep an eye on it, and I think it's a buyable opportunity if it gaps down. And if it gaps up on earnings, it's most likely going to fade, and then we can buy the dip after it gaps up. But I do think Snapchat will have a gap, and right now, ladies and gentlemen, the trend is bullish on Snapchat. So I'm only going to be looking at bullish plays on Snapchat for right now until something else changes. The revenue doesn't look great. The earnings don't look great, but they're stabilizing. It's the long and the short of it. So if you have kids that use Snapchat, might as well make sure they got some shares. FireEye refuses to break out of this accumulation pattern. So FireEye has been stuck for a awfully long time. And it's just in an accumulation pattern, and everyone's like, when's it going to break out? And I do not know the answer. A lot of traders own some shares and they keep buying it. They buy it low. That's the thing, is it's still tradable, right? Keep that in mind. You can still trade this type of action. It's just trading sideways, and it's in a range. So if it pulls back down to $13, you could probably buy some, and then you could probably sell it at 18. I don't know about you guys, but it's $5 a share, about 50% return. It's not bad. So people are making money off of this move on FireEye. I'm not playing it, but that's okay. Just because I'm not in a position doesn't mean that you guys can't like it. So long term, it's just very sideways. Buy as low as you can, tiptoe in, and then sell as high as you can, and wait for the breakout. And when it breaks out, we can talk about it at that time and do something really fun on it. But until then, just going to keep waiting. Is Ping? Oh, that is a trade. Okay. I didn't know that Ping was a stock. Ooh, it's a new stock. PING. Oh, look at this gap and go. Uh-oh, I need to throw Ping on the list. I'm going to message Ashley. New IPO Ping, question mark? Oh my goodness. Type in a 4 if you guys can see the perfect gap and go. Oh man. That gap is just next level. I can just look at gaps like that all day long and just fantasize on how I would have played it.
I'm a classic, yeah. Look at me, no candles on the screen. I'm a classic, yeah.
You know what's up. Best believe that. So classic gap on the list on PING. Just a really good gap and go. And once this high wave candle came in, the very next day, my entry would have been above there, stop below it. I would have gotten triggered on that day, and I'd still be in. Hammer candle. After this hammer candle, I'd have set up the entry there, stop there. That's a beautiful retest. This is just a good trend. I like it. Really pretty inside candle. Does look a little bit like the market, but boy, oh boy, it is looking cute. Identity Holding Corporation. Ping. Bullish trend. I'm giving it some time. I think it needs to come down to the 50 EMA imbalance, but I need to put that one on my list a little bit more. Wave 4, says Clive. Yeah, it does look a little wave 4-ish, which is cool. So Ping, I'm going to look at that again next week. And let's keep diving in. Uber, U-B-E-R. Whoo, Uber. Man, I like this candle. I'm going to be watching Uber tomorrow for a day trade. That looks really delightful. So my buddy JL Musi, who lived in Orlando, has a share or two of Uber, and just a really good pullback yesterday. I do like Uber long term. You guys want to know one of my personal investment philosophies? Type in a 1 if you want to know one of my personal investment philosophies. Here it goes. When a company becomes a verb, you buy it long term. That's one of my personal investment philosophies. When a company becomes a verb, you buy it long term. That's because the verb is built into our language. And when something's built into your language, you'll use it more. And when you use it, you act on it more. And when you act on it more, you do it more. Jesse says, Lyft is another, based on your definition. No one ever in their entire life says, hey, let's go take a Lyft. They say, I wonder if Uber's down and maybe I'll go find him a Lyft. Right? It was a joke. It was just a bad joke. Some people talk about Lyft. Some people use the word Lyft in vernacular, but it's more Uber. Right? Uber is certainly more of the popular verb. Kenneth says, we used to Xerox papers. That is true. And Xerox did very well for a very long time. EJ says, Uber is worldwide. Lyft is USA only. Also something to factor in. You are correct. So yeah, for right now, I'm a fan of Uber. I like the trends. I like the chart. Once it started breaking out this downward trend, let's check this out. Look how gorgeous this gap was. In fact, let me just turn off the moving averages so you can really see the delightfulness of this gap. And I'm just going to hide the line for a moment. Look at this beauty.
I'm all about that gap, no candle. I'm all about that gap, gap.
I could do this all day. I'm just on fire. So you have a really nice bullish gap and go on Uber, really good volume, new higher low, and then it just crushed from there. So, really good trends, looks really pretty. I love the gap up today. I like the candle today. And I know earnings are around the corner, so I don't specifically think I'm going to swing trade it, but I am going to watch Uber tomorrow and over the next 2 or 3 days for just a really quick swing trade and or day trade. So this is not official. This is one I'm just going to watch kind of on my own time and just see what it does. But I do like the trend. And I think Uber could make it back to 46. I think that's reasonable that it can make it back up to 46. And I'm no math wizard, but that's about $10 per share. Okay, next on the list is LOK. Man, I thought I was doing good on time, but I am not. I am going slow. I need to speed up severely. LOK, what are we doing? Nothing. Trading sideways. Wow. Is this the right stock? I probably typed something in wrong. It's probably supposed to be LK if I had to guess. I'm just going to type in LK. I think it was supposed to be LK. LK, this premium is already slowly evaporating on Luckin Coffee. Looks good. Nice little volatility play. I like it. We'll be buying it back before too long. Next on the list is STWD, Starwood Properties. Starwood Properties, hotel chain. If you go somewhere, you probably stay in a Starwood. If you're a baller on a budget, and there you go. You're not going wrong on Starwood Properties. That trend is immaculate, insane. I wouldn't buy at this exact price, but on a pullback, absolutely. All kinds of strong opportunities on Starwood Properties. Disney, ticker symbol DIS, Walt Disney. Earnings is around the corner. I do like this bearish High wave candle, a little bit of a bullish candle coming in today. Close at the long-term moving averages. Here's the weekly chart on Walt Disney. And big picture, I do like the company. It looks nice. I'm a fan. I kind of dig it. So just overall, looking at this, I think you should own some Disney shares. If you have kids, or if you go to Disney, or if you have Disney Plus, buy some shares over time. One or two things is going to happen on Disney over earnings. It's either going to gap up, fade down, and then slowly continue higher, or it's going to gap down and trade into 125, and then it will bounce. Either way, Disney long-term is higher, but it just depends on what time pricing you want to buy it. So I'm going to wait until earnings to do anything more on Disney, but long-term it looks good. Short-term, I'm going to wait until the earnings on it. JIMA. I thought that was a stock. Is it JLMA? JMIA. That's it. JMIA looks god-awful. Wow. No volume, no gaps, just a straight downtrend to zero. All right. Well, I won't be playing that one. So next on the list, I'll put that on another list for next week if you guys really want to trade it. But right now, I'm gonna wait that out. I don't think anything cool is gonna happen on that one. Alibaba. So we had some traders sell some puts at open yesterday, and they bought those puts back today. Baba gapped up 2%, very nice gap. And also, if you are studying retest gaps, or if you're just studying gaps in general because you want to be a really profitable trader and you know what to do, this was a ridiculously nice retest gap. So pretty, so good in every way. Two high wave candles right in front of your face saying, buy me if I break out higher. And it did. It gapped up, it retested. It was a really, really good gap. Nice looking move. And love Baba long term. Big fan of the pullback that it's getting, right? It needed pullback. It is pulling back. And I still think there's a chance that this could happen on the whole China stock market type of companies. But I'd be a buyer of that if it occurs for sure. HTHT. Looks good. Looks like a China play. Another gap down this week into a support and got bought up. Yeah. I mean, yeah, looks good. I mean, it's a trend. It's a channel. Volume is coming in. Buy low, sell high. Be bullish on it. Buy the dip from here, which you're probably already in. StarBucks, SBUX. Starbucks, let's see how they're gapping right now overnight, if they are, and they're not yet. They're down very small. Starbucks store closures in China overshadow solid earnings. So they're just gapping down extremely small. You had a little bit of post-market volume, not much. So it looks like it's going to open flat, which is very good for the particular trader, Serena, who has a condor. That's kind of best case scenario for it to open flat. We're going to come back and look at Starbucks pretty much tomorrow as well, because if it holds this range and breaks out of this range, really any direction, I think it could move kind of nicely. So I'm going to put Starbucks on the list for tomorrow as well. Next on the list is LRCX, which is just dominating the bears right now. Trend, hashtag bullish, hashtag buy the dip, hashtag buy the salsa, hashtag don't be short, hashtag. Earnings right around the corner on LRCX. I don't know what it's going to do, but I would assume if it gaps down, it actually could be a really nice gap if it opens below 285. If it gaps down too far, like into 265, it would be buyable. But if it gaps down a little bit, I think it could softly trade a little bit lower. Georgie says, I never got the recordings of yesterday's session. Yes, you did. They are in your inbox. They are there. But Matt or Ashley will send them to you right now in the chat pane, and I will send out more today. You can email me, and I'll be happy to check. If you shoot me an email, jeremy@reallifetrading.com, because everyone except one person said they didn't get it, and then I pulled up the email receipts, and I was like, oh, yeah, you did. And I took a screenshot of it with an arrow and said, it's somewhere. You even opened it. So I don't know if that's your situation, Georgie, but if you email me, I'll figure it out for you. But there in the chat pane is your videos right there. All right, so Lamb Research, we're going to come back to it tomorrow to see what it does on earnings. But if it gaps down nicely, then I might day trade it bearish. Otherwise, I'll look to buy the dip. 3D printing. I do have 1,000 shares of 3D printing. I'm quite happy with its performance today. So 3D printing gapped down and immediately got bought up. So I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, it moved pretty much $1,000 today from open. It moved a lot. So strong move. Really, really good looking candle. I like the fact that the 100 simple has crossed. I like the weekly chart. The weekly 100 is going to hold down 3D Systems a little bit, but my next target from here, I think, is 1487. It has a lot to go through to get there, but that's the 200 simple on a monthly chart, and it seems reasonable that it could hit that price. So we'll see. So we'll find out. We will find out. So anyway, real quick before we go and continue forward, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tuesday. Let me go look at Twitter, because this analysis that we did yesterday in the afternoon room has already made a few traders enough money to pay for the entire year of real life trading. And again, a whole year of real life trading is only $19.95. This was the verbatim analysis that we said yesterday. Hey guys, I don't think I want to swing trade this one, but if Twitter gaps up exactly like it did last time at this level, look to play it bullish. That was the analysis on Twitter yesterday, and that's exactly what it did today. It gapped up, it retested, it bounced, and then it just absolutely went banana sandwich. Really good retest, gorgeous trend. That was a day trade in the afternoon room given to you over 23 hours ago. So if you feel like that was a really cool call out, if you liked it, if you used it, if it was beneficial to you, feel free to sign up. Matt will post the link, but I will also show it. Hop over to reallifetrading.com. You can click on this premium tab and you can scroll down and select which opportunity is most viable for you. This is what we're in right now, the afternoon swing trading room, $199 a month, $12.95 a year. You'll save a little bit of money doing that. Morning room is $249 a month or $17.95 a year. And if you want everything that we have to offer, which includes the Slack access, which includes the trading journal, morning room, afternoon room, weekly options newsletter, and all the recordings in your email inbox, it's only $19.95 per year. I spent more than that last year on my cell phone. That is a true statement. I have multiple lines, but still. So anyway, Twitter, really good gap, great trend, great move. Interested to see what happens on earnings. Jurgen wants me to look at W. I will put that on the list for tomorrow. I'm already over 8 minutes. All right, I got 3 more. Momo, I can already take Peloton off the list. Momo looks pretty. Red says, should we stay in the room every day or do we get trades into our inbox? Either one. I email you the recordings every day in your inbox, Red. So, you know, all you have to do is click on them and watch them. And again, you also get access to the trading journal. You also get access to Slack. So with 3 different places to verify, check, and track what trades we're in, it's really easy to determine and find out if we're in some trades. And if we are, just go in, pop in, and set up the trade. And of course, worst case scenario, ladies and gentlemen, you can always just message me directly if you're on Slack, right? So I already have, let's see, 2 unanswered messages from DJ and John, but this is our Slack community right here. So if at any point in time you want to pop over and message me or message us something directly, you can. You can say, hey, what swing trades are we in? And I'll send them to you. Or you can just simply check your Slack account and you can see what trades we're in. Or you can scroll through them and, again, see what trades we're setting up. It's really useful, very viable, very user-friendly. Red says, how do you select these trades? That, my good friend, is the point of the entire afternoon room experience. You get to watch me do the reviews, do the analysis, and set up the trades every single day. Just like Momo, here it is, our entry, 3087 by 2954. We're going to play Momo bullish based on today's candle. All right, Momo swing trade. All right. I like the gap down. I like the candle. I like the location. And I like the risk reward. Okay, boom, boom. Gonna throw in Momo. All right, beautiful. Bang, bang. I'll make it public. Carrie says, can any of these be option trades? Of course, it's entirely up to you. I am just the person who gives you the idea. It is up to you to determine how you want to play it. I will let everyone know if I'm playing it with an option, because again, I normally play shares. I just like shares better, but you are absolutely welcome. Totally your call, and can easily trade it with options if you would like to. Again, if it's a very specific option trade, I will let everyone know, kind of like the square trade that we talked about yesterday that a few people are in with a little bit of a different setup. But yeah, if it's an option trade, I will let everyone know. Nola says, can you look at Zag and JD this week? Sure, I'll put them on the list for tomorrow. Red says, what is your RIN weight? 46.73%. All right, let's go look at the next trade. Apple and then eBay. So these are two earnings gaps. Apple is gapping up over earnings. It did absolutely mangle earnings again. It did post a all-time high pre-market. So a lot of people just started selling Apple there. I'm kind of interested to see what happens on Apple, but I mean, they murdered options. They murdered earnings in every way possible. It was a tremendous, just crushing again, dominating expectations. But I do kind of expect Apple to fade a little bit tomorrow. I think we'll trade up some, make a new all-time high, and then slowly come back to normalcy for a little bit. That's just my expectation. But the 250 put sales will work out quite well. We'll be able to buy those back tomorrow for a nice profit. So that was really good. And if you bought call options over earnings, unfortunately, you're pretty much going to lose because the implied volatility will get sucked out of it. And if you're in shares, I mean, long term, that's looking quite deliciously delightful. So pretty nice. I like the move on Apple. Cute gap, and we'll be looking at it all week long. And here is eBay. eBay is a bearish gap and go. I had a trader ask me in the morning room today how to play eBay. And my analysis was do a call option and then do a put option, which is called a strangle. And the strangle will almost pay out if eBay keeps going lower tomorrow. So looking pretty good, and I like the trends. I like the sideways movement on eBay, and this is a pretty nice gap. So I'm expecting a little bit of selling, a little bit of follow through for the bear traders on eBay tomorrow for a day trade. It is gapping into some support. So keep in mind tomorrow morning that you're probably going to retest this support a little bit before going lower. But this is a decent bearish gap. And I think some bulls will be trapped, and I could easily see eBay go a little bit lower. The main target for tomorrow is going to be 34.07, which is the 200 simple moving average on a weekly chart. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on eBay. I don't have any position on eBay. It would be a very interesting day trade tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to trade it, but I will keep an eye on it a little bit tomorrow. Sorry for going long. I like to try to keep these to exactly 60 minutes, and I apologize for going long. But the good news is no one's ever actually gotten mad at me for going long. I just try to keep you all to a nice, clean hour. So let me do this. Stocks for tomorrow. Okay. MCD, LAUR. Where am I typing this? LAUR, Ballard Power, Plug, PGNX, CGC, Home Depot, Costco, Teladoc, Starbucks, LRCX, W, ZAG, and JD. Slack, I can look at that. Person says, see y'all tomorrow. We will be here, same time, same place. Danny says, thanks, Jeremy, for going long, but then again, you are a perma bull. Yes, sir. Amazon, Google, Tesla, Netflix, Roku. Can do. Harley Davidson. All right, I got it. eBay again. Sure thing. PSNL, AMD, Apple. Why not? Baidu, Beyond Meat. Sure thing. Derek says, great stuff. Hey, man, thank you. Hope it's helpful. Hope you make some money off of it. And I hope you can enrich some lives with us in the future. Click the link in the chat pane if you want to join. It is worth it for your time and your dollars and your pennies and your mind. My goal is to enrich lives. I hope I did that today. Thank you for being here. And until next time, love life, trade it. Bye.